Hello everyone! I'm not going to do an introduction, I don't need to. Auto Assembly 2013 has been and gone, and my word, what an amazing time it has been. I feel exhausted, both mentally, physically, emotionally. It has just been one hell of a weekend. It was absolutely amazing. So what I'm going to do, go through each day, say about my experiences and just the awesomeness that ensued throughout the weekend. I will be using that word quite a lot. I do apologise. So, Friday. So I got on the Friday at around 1-ish. A bit earlier than I was expecting, which was okay. And who should I see there? First 3 people. Tom, Armory Reviews 1. John, Razatron. And Stephen, Live for Everything, Die for Nothing. My word. Raz, it was a pleasure and an honour to meet you in person. Sir, you are a most kind gentleman indeed. Thank you very much for the badge, the Canadian badge. I will treasure that, I assure you. Tom, always great to make your acquaintance once again. I hope you enjoyed your first AA, mate, because from what I could see, I think he was enjoying it. And Steve, my word, you're awesome, dude. You're just freaking awesome in person. It was just great to meet you. It really was. So I met those 3. Then I started to meet more people. I met Sammy again, Skullgrim 140. I met Dave, Cardell Prime. Then I met Ray, I Love Mess. George, Exaggerated Elegy. Tony, Sound with SG1. John, TF Nosey. Sam, 000 Firestorm. And generally, within the first 5 to 10 minutes, I had met and was talking to more people than I had in the entirety of last year's Auto Assembly for me, which was absolutely freaking amazing. Not only talking to them, but taking an active role in the conversations. So you get all of us huddled around a table talking about bots or some other crazy, just random conversation that was appearing. It was so cool. Met Phil, Rat Trap 25. Phil, next year, the glasses. I will bring the glasses, the shades, you know, I will bring them. And you can stay for longer next year. Stay for longer, sir. Because it was a shame that you had to go so early. You missed a lot of fun. So yeah, and then I also met a lovely young woman called Patrina, who it was her first Auto Assembly year. She likes Armada, that's awesome. And she's about my age, yeah, and just started talking. I hope you enjoyed your first Auto Assembly. I hope we didn't scare you off, because Jim and quite a lot of us can be a bit, you know, scary at points. Yeah. Although you went to the mill with us and you saw what happened as we was walking through NEC, so yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, so I hope you come back next year. Great to meet you. Now then, Phil, shush, 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 stop it, stop it, Phil. I know what you're thinking. Stop. You too, Tomo. Stop. Stop it, you two. Stop it. Just, alright, you done? Good. So yeah, more people started to turn up. Jim came. My word, man. Great to meet you again, sir. It was a fantastic time. Absolutely fantastic time with you. And generally, for the afternoon of Friday, it was just a group of us sitting down, playing with bots, drinking, talking, having an amazing time. And then, of course, also Andy, Cobra Commander, met. Pleasure to meet you, sir, as always. And so, eventually, cases started to come out, and bots started to be sold. I did buy a couple of bots from Jim, so I will treasure that bot I took off your hands. I really don't know why you did that. It's an awesome bot, you didn't have to. But anyway, so yeah, bots were starting to go around, and then by this time, people had started to queue up to go into the evening events on the Friday. So we all sort of thought, hey, we might as well join the queue when it's short because it was huge. So we waited until it went down, joined it, and then me and Jim sat down to watch the deconstruction of Last Stand of the Wreckers issue 2 with James Roberts and Nick Roche, and the character description of Overlord. We saw about 5 to 10 minutes of that, and then afterwards, because earlier on we had arranged that me, Jim, Phil, John, Sam and Patrina were all going to go out for a meal that evening. Because it's special, it's auto-assembly, it only happens once a year. So we left at about 5 minutes in, and oh my god, on the way there, it was kind of like an adventure, at least that's how I saw it. You have to remember, you have Phil and Jim, who are from Manchester, then you have, I think Patrina and John and Sam are all from Yorkshire, so you had kind of the War of the Roses. And me being a southerner, it was hilarious, absolutely hilarious to watch. I'm going to mention one word, Oasis. You know what that means, Oasis. you know what that means. So yeah, then we had to walk through the NEC, and it was completely dead. Hardly anyone around. Which spurred us into saying, hey, wouldn't this make a good scene for a zombie movie? Which then spurred Jim on to become a zombie. Yeah, he basically walked through the NEC as a zombie. It was, oh my god, it was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. Sam, I believe you recorded some of that. If you have that footage, put it on YouTube. Really, really want to see that. Put it on YouTube, sir. Because that is just going to be freaking awesome to see. But I'm going to paint a picture. We had to go up an elevator. Jim, being a zombie, going up an elevator. The funniest thing I have seen in a long, long time. And as we was walking through there, we bumped into the Juice, 84, who I never saw for the rest of the weekend. Sir, I hope you enjoyed your auto-assembly. Really wish I could have seen you more, but next year we'll make up for it. And I'm sorry I sort of just nodded. I didn't recognise you until Jim started to talk to you, so next year we'll have proper talk. So yeah, went through NEC, went on the monorail which took us to Birmingham Airport, and then inside was a Frankie and Benny's because Phil had got some discount off, we was all going to eat there. And it was really nice, it was a lovely meal. I'm sure you can find photos somewhere because quite a few were taken on the Friday. It was just nice to get out of the chaos and madness and sort of busyness of the Birmingham, of the Hilton, and just go away from it sometime, just talk with friends. In a relaxed environment. Although Phil, I feel so sorry for you. The first thing you ordered, they didn't have. The second thing you ordered, they didn't have. The third thing you ordered, which we was all joking, oh, they're not going to have that too, they didn't. So eventually you had to settle on that's what somebody else was having, but oh my goodness, mate, I'm so sorry, but it was funny. So yeah, and that was about an hour and a half. Got back. On the way back though, in the sort of monorail, it kind of looked like the inside of a shuttlecraft from Star Trek. And because you were sitting backwards as it was going forwards, Jim sort of got up and tried to do a Superman, or just laid out in front of it. Bearing in mind there was people in the carriage. But again, my goodness, that was the funniest. It was the funniest evening of auto-assembly, I think. Or, possibly the funniest evening. Post. I'll get that in a bit. But yeah, so we got back, and we got back just as Dan Gilverson was finished talking about his book, which, from what we heard, because we sort of catch the last 5 minutes of, it was really interesting. I didn't get it signed though. I didn't get anything signed this year because I'm so busy talking to people and socialising. But hey ho, there's next year or the year after if they ever return. So yeah, then we sat down and we watched the original movie, the 1985, I always get this wrong, 1985 movie. And of course there's us, just being geeks. Which was so funny, especially as the first couple of times I tried to play it, it wouldn't work. It got to the shuttle scene and then froze. Second time, did the same thing. The third time, it skipped the whole Instruments of Destruction scene and went straight to Earth. And so they just thought, wow, might as well just play it from there on. But it was a fun time. And then that took us up to about 11ish. Most people went to bed then. Me, Sam, John and Patricia, we went into the bar. We had another round of drinks, and then I sort of hit the sack at about 12ish. So yeah, Friday was a fantastic way to start auto assembly. So Saturday morning, woke up at about 7:15. The night before, we had all arranged to meet in the lobby for 8 because we was all going to go into breakfast together. So I sort of went down early, and as I was waiting, I met Stu, Mighty Grimlock. Sir, you brilliant, awesome, mate, awesome. I hope you enjoyed your first AA. You got some nice bots. You got some very, very nice bots. So I was talking to him, and then Carl, TW Pikachu, was there. Said hi to you, sir. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. It was awesome to meet you at last. And yeah, eventually Jim came down. I think the others were probably a bit sleepy, so me and Jim went into breakfast together. Then we met Tom, so it was all three of us in breakfast. Breakfast was okay. The sausages, they tasted weird, very weird. The meat was off. I think the meat was fine. It was strange. But as we came out, I'm glad we went in that early because the queue to get into breakfast was huge. So yeah, and then we waited around the bar for everyone else to arrive. Eventually, they turned up, and we just sat around because there was also a queue at this point to get into the dealer's room because that was when it opened. But we was all like, well, why would you queue up if in a couple of minutes, when the queue goes down, you can just wander in freely? So we just waited until they had opened a couple of minutes and then went in. And the plastic, my word, this year the plastic did not disappoint. There was a lot of nice things there.
The first actor to play both Megatron and Optimus Prime. There was only one line as Megatron.
As a character we use, you have to know, okay, we need a bad guy, he'll do it, just so happens he's really good.
A lot of nice things. Prices this year, some prices were actually lower than last year on certain new figures, like Generations figures. However, G1 seemed to be more expensive this year. I don't know what you thought, but if you went, but they seem quite expensive on some things, however. So yeah, walked around there, had a look. It was pretty awesome. Went back into the bar, relaxed as people were just buying bots.
I'm happy you just there. I don't really need.
You saw her on camera.
Are you filming?
Yeah, I am.
Oh no.
You just realised.
We're going to end up on a video.
Yeah.
I hate my face, don't.
Where's that YouTube seminar thing on? I want to go. It's hilarious.
Don't know, I want to go to that.
No,
It's just going to be basically full of us.
Sam, we're all talking about Manchester Media.
Because at this point, people brought a bot, took it back to the table, started fiddling with it. We all sort of had a look at the bot, talked about it, and just generally chilled out with booze and bots. Hence this picture. So yeah, then in the off about, what time was it? 1:12ish. Couple of other guys arrived. Ed, Bumble Jumper, 72, arrived. Sir, that bot you have is a very, very nice. But we both got the bot in the end, so I hope you enjoyed your first year at Auto Assembly. It was awesome to meet you. You were just a great, great dude. Who else arrived? Dave Mentz. Sir, I will try to be a little bit sillier in these videos, because apparently I'm very serious. Yes, it's just very, very serious. It was awesome. Awesome to meet you, sir. And other Rob, Prediking 75. I hope I've got that right. I'm not good with numbers. awesome to meet you, sir. Keep up the YouTube videos. Keep them up. But yeah, so you can imagine the scene. You had me, Jim, Ray, Dave, Phil, Tom, Stephen, Helen, Carl, and a load of others all at the table together. It was like YouTube it was just like a group of YouTubers sitting down and talking. It was so cool. And I have taken a photo which you'll see in a minute.
Yes!
So yeah, I also met Dan and Daniel Marshall and Stephen and Flogo. I think it was a Friday actually I met you two. Dan, my word, sir, I will never let that Saturday night go. that sounded quite wrong. It wasn't meant to. I hope you enjoyed it. And Stephen, always a pleasure to meet you again. Hope you enjoyed it, and you got some nice Megazords there, I believe they were. Very nice stuff. So yeah, we was all just sitting down, relaxing. I kind of talked to Helen, but not much. If you're watching this, hopefully we can talk more next year. But yeah, and as we were sitting down, really, an interesting little item appeared. The item being this. A prototype of the Generations Bumblebee figure, which Helen had got apparently off of Ben's Collectibles. Wow! When do you see a prototype? The only time I've seen a Transformers or a toy prototype is on Toy Hunter, which is a quite cool series. But yeah, it was awesome to look at and just go, wow, that would be worth a lot of money in the future. So me, Jim, Dave and other Rob all went to the Andrew Griffith workshop, and that was really cool. Andrew was there saying about what previous work he'd done in IDW, how he came up with some of the designs of RID, and then he opened it to questions. Most of the questions being Jim, but it was still cool. So that went on for about half an hour, and afterwards we were all feeling quite hungry, so we went to Swerve's Bar. And if any member of the Auto Assembly Committee is watching this, if any volunteer of Auto Assembly is watching this, Simon or Trish, if you're watching this, please keep Swerve's Bar for next year. It was an amazing idea and it works so well. The prices were ridiculously cheap and the food was quite good actually. So please keep that for next year. Because it worked really well. So it was in there. The curry is what I had on the Saturday. It was quite nice actually. £1 for a Coke, that's not bad. Really not bad considering that in the bar, a pint of Coke was like nearly £4. So, so after that I sort of went back into the bar, the main bar. They went off. I went to sit down next to Sammy and Adam White. Sir, I hope you did get a chance to enjoy the weekend. I know you was very busy, and I hope you make your right choice because you was thinking about volunteering next year. But I just hope you had a chance to sit down and relax for a bit. And yeah, I owe a lot to you this year, sir. So thank you. But yeah, sitting down with them, talking, just enjoying it really. And then we went into the charity auction, or at least me, John and Katrina went into the charity auction. We all thought that Steve Bloom was going to be doing it, but because certain things were running behind, Steve Bloom's basically line for autographs was really busy actually. So it was done by Dave and Billy. Billy, I never got a chance to say hi. Great work with with just organising everything, because I know you have a huge part to play in it. Next year, sir, we need to talk. So yeah, we watched it, and those two, they're comedy gold, really. And one particular item in the charity auction was dealt with swiftly. Something of a Bieber about it. But I only saw about the first 5 to 10 minutes of that, because then I realised that the podcast panel was on. Now, the podcast panel was the one panel that I was looking forward to of all of Auto Assembly. I got in there, that was running a bit behind. I did manage to take some photos. But they got started in the end, and there was Jim, me, Dave and Stu. They had members from the Underbase, the Moonbase 2 and the Old Oil House, and it was hosted by Matt Clark. Timey. Sir, I owe you a lot, sir. Thank you very much for what you did. I had a few suspicions, but yeah, thank you. I hope you enjoyed your weekend, because, wow, it was awesome. So yeah, listen to them. Matt asked them a couple of questions about how they got into podcasting. Then it was open to us on the floor. We heard some quite interesting stories. And then towards the end, and this was the unexpected part for me, they got me and Jim up at the front, which was a shock to both me and Jim. My word. So, but I think someone had asked a question like, have you ever recorded a podcast in which by the end of it you've changed your mind about a comic? And they put the question to us. So, Jim, being Jim, was like, yeah, we did that, although he couldn't remember what Spotlight, and so I sort of like said, yeah, we've done it, and tried to answer it as best we could, given that it was all the shock and surprise. Then one of us got to sit up on the actual panel table, and the other one at the side, so Jim sat on the panel table and I sat on the side. But, guys, thank you. Adam, White, I know you had a part to play in this, sir. I will get you back at some point. I won't, I'm kidding. But yeah, thank you very much. Because afterwards, some people actually came up and said, oh, hey, I didn't know you did a podcast, etc., etc. Is it on iTunes? Where can we find it, etc.? And we also got to speak to some of the panellists. Amy, Lady Rec, thank you for welcoming us into the community. Thank you very much. Your costume for the weekend was awesome. Really, it was awesome. Yeah, but we got to talk to some of the panellists. Then after that finished, I went upstairs to get changed ready for the evening events. Came back down, sat with the group again. Although throughout the weekend I sort of did move from table to table speaking to people, so it weren't always in one place. And that's when Amy gave Patricia a Last Stand of the Wreckers issue 1 comic, because Patricia, if you're watching this, I know you're trying to get into comics, so I hope you got that signed by Nick Roche and James Roberts, because yeah, they're awesome dudes. And then we all joined the massive queue to go into the cosplay. It was a big queue. And by the time we got in there, most of the tables had been taken. However, Adam White, again, I'm going to mention his name a lot over the weekend because it was quite prominent. He basically found us 2 seats, so me and Patricia sort of sat down on this table near the front. And there was only one more table in front of us, which was for volunteers or guests, but no one really sat there, so we got a really good view of the cosplay and most of the evening's entertainments. But on this table was Nick Snowden. Nick, I hope your dealer table did well, sir. You had some very nice stuff on there. I know next year you're going to be getting some of those black shelves put up. It is going to look awesome. I hope you enjoyed your weekend and had a chance to relax. Jamie, Magic Man, was also on the table. Simon, Silverbolt on YouTube, was also on the table. Chris McFeely was on the table. Amy was on the table. Several others that I didn't get to say hi to, and I believe there was a guy called Mike who was on the table as well. So it was really good just to be on this table with all of them. The cosplay was great. Special mentions have to go to Skids and Wrong, who I believe were cosplayed by Isa and Tori, and also a special mention has to go out to the farmer. Yes, someone actually did a cosplay of Farmer. It was so cool. The whole of the cosplay was so funny. Dave just makes it funny each year. But the winner was Animated Grimlock, who actually transformed, and he deserved basically the prize because it was quite a fantastic costume. So afterwards, it was a script reading, and wow, Steve Bloom, when he does a script reading, it's so funny. Obviously, he's the voice of Prime Starscream, so you can imagine what kind of madness ensued. And the plot of the actual script seemed much better than last year. In fact, the whole script reading itself seemed an improvement on last year. It was better structured as well, but it was just hilarious to watch because you had Steve Bloom, Dan Gilson, Neil Kaplan, Nick Roche, and John Paul Bove. What an awesome lineup, really. And then after that finished, I sort of said hi to Jamie, and I said hi to Simon as well. And I think Patricia said hi to them as well. And then we had the announcements. Next year's guests. My word, next year for the 30th anniversary is going to be amazing. It's just, oh my, wow. Okay, firstly, Livio Ramadelli is returning. It would be nice to say hi to him because me and Jim have done an interview. Flint Dilley is also going to be there, and he kind of gave away some sort of spoilers about what the third series he's working on, Primacy. And then Townsend Coleman is also going to be returning. Now, instead of 3 voice actors, we're getting 4. So the 3 others were the voice of Generation 1 Trax and Cosmos. Name will be below, probably flashing in lights if I can do that. The voice of RID Skybite, which was a shock. But then the biggest shock of all, we are getting the voice of Transformers Prime Shockwave. Holy wow, basically. I think by that time we was having a standing innovation, basically. Everyone was just going awesome. We was just loving it. So yeah, next year is going to be a fun time. But then afterwards, Jamie, who, sir, you are the kindest person I have ever met. I owe you a drink next year because really you are so kind. Him and Simon showed me and Patricia around and basically for the rest of the evening introduced us to everyone else who we hadn't already talked to, which was so cool. I got to say hi to Chris McFeely, I got to say hi to Isa and Tori, I got to say hi to other Adam who I met at the London Meet. I got a hug from Von Rojas. I'm not sure how to take that, but I survived, so. And then we basically just sat down in the corner near the bar and just listened to Adam and Von Rojas doing Bane impressions. And of course Adam White also sat down next to me, Jamie, etc. Tom came over a couple of times, so did Jim, but it was just amazing. And he also, Jamie, you also brought us drinks. My word, sir, your hospitality knows no ends. It really, my goodness, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. So yeah, we did go back to see if there was anything to do with karaoke, but it was dead. I mean, last year I thought it did well, but that may be because I was new to it, but this year it was really dead. Although I did get to see Amy sing, which was awesome. I can't remember the actual song now. It will come to me probably, but very good singing. The rest of it was a bit dire. So yeah, but the Saturday I stayed up just talking till 2 o'clock on the Sunday morning, which was crazy for me. So yeah, Tom also stayed up that time. Tomo, I think you stayed up to about 4ish. However, I did get an interesting conversation with Dan. who had a couple of shots and was talking about golf and how he likes it and how he could have done a better job than the professional golfers because there was a TV on, which was hilarious. And I will keep reminding you about that, Dan, on Skype Sundays because it was just too funny. But yeah, went to bed at around 2ish, got to sleep at probably about 3. Woke up at 7:45, so I was dog dead tired. Went to breakfast, however it was in a different room, which was right, because my room in the hotel was all the way over the other side, unlike last year. I had to basically have a trek to go to the lobby, but I trekked all the way up there, realised that actually the room I was supposed to have breakfast in was right near where I came down my lift, spent about 5 minutes going back to there, and then in the breakfast I met 3 awesome people. I believe Mike and his wife was his name. I'm sorry if I'm getting these so wrong, my memory is terrible with names. I mean, it's surprising I've remembered all this, but... And another YouTuber who... Oh my god, I'm so sorry, sir. I'm really, really sorry. James? It began with J, I believe. Okay, but basically, talking to them, Tom came in, Jim came in, and Jim was saying, well, why don't we interview you three? Because we like to interview people who've never done YouTube, never done a podcast, but have just browsed Transformers on the internet. So that's what we did. I went back up to the room, met Jim, we went down into the bar. At that point it was nice and quiet. We got our seat next to the windows, set up the mic, and then just interviewed these 3 people. Halfway through the interview, Monkey Not Truck, who I did not get your real name, so sorry sir, came in. Tom also sat in and listened. I didn't say much because I was dog dead tired, but it went really well actually. Afterwards, me and Jim got coffee from Costa's, which was expensive, but it was strong. I think it was worth it because it was so strong. Had that with extra sugar. Saw Ray again, and Ed, talked to them, and Stu, I think. Talked to them. Then we sort of queued up to get into the dealer room, along with Sammy, and who else? I can't remember who else now. But yeah, we queued up, we eventually got in there, and of course on the Sunday, most of the stuff was on really cheap prices. When I come to do my haul, I'll explain all about it, but it was really cheap, plus there was new stuff out, so it was awesome. I didn't buy anything at first, I just kept going between there and the bar really, just relaxing for the afternoon because it was awesome. Eventually, Tomo got up because I imagine you stayed up quite late and got quite drunk. It's awesome. And then me, Stephen and other Rob went up to Jim's room because at this point I had signed out and basically recorded an episode of the podcast on the issue 1 of Marvel, the original comic, the US version. So that was awesome. Although stuff did go wrong, but it was still just great to review with YouTube, who were brilliant, may I say, if you're watching this, brilliant. Came down, however, in that time I'd sort of missed the second charity auction and the quiz, who I heard it was a draw between the attendees and the guests, so yeah, that's cool. Came down, and just sat around the bar really, talking to more people, and Stephen, Tomo's friend who was there, sir, if you're watching this, I've seen your YouTube videos, I should know your YouTube name, it's probably appearing on the screen now. It was awesome to meet you as well, you picked up some nice stuff there. Of course YouTube was staying in another hotel, so that sucks, I know. So yeah, just generally, basically got around, and then I saw Ed, and Ed had brought a figure I really wanted. Sorry about that, the camera, without my knowledge, stopped recording, so this bit I've already done before, but I'll do it again. So yeah, as I said, Ed had found a bot that I really, really liked, and quite jealous of you, sir, for having that bot. It's awesome. So I was determined to go around into the dealer room and try and find one, which I did, and I will show off in my haul. However, as I was buying it, Jim came up and said, hey, Raz is about to take a photo of all of us from Skype Sundays. Now, bearing in mind that at this point, Tom, Stu and Ray and Phil had all left. Phil, sorry that you had to leave so early. But we all had the photo taken, and that's where I met Nick Hardy. Nick, you are a great photographer and an awesome chap. I hope we get to talk more next year, I really do. Richard, I really hope we get to talk more again, because I only saw you briefly, but I hope the wedding went well, sir. I hope it did. And apparently Auto Assembly was your honeymoon, so... so yeah, we took the photo, one of normal pose and then one of us going, it was awesome. After that, had lunch, chili con carne, not that bad. Sat down with me, Jim, Stephen, and that's where I met Jake. Sir, your YouTube videos, I have seen you. However, I do not know your name, so it'll probably be flashing up along the bottom like it has done for the rest of the video. It was awesome to meet you, especially as you only live about an hour's drive away from me. So me, you and Tom, who lives in Rochester, we all need to meet up and have a little meet together, because that should be quite cool. There's a northern meet going on that Phil is hopefully going to arrange, so that should be awesome if it happens. I will definitely come to that. Hell, I'll stay out there for a weekend if we do that. God, yeah. If anyone will put me up, or I'll just find a hotel, whatever. But yeah, and I also talked to Airlift Ian, I believe. Sir, I hope you enjoyed your first auto assembly weekend. I hope you talked to so many people, and I hope you want to come back, because make more videos. Even though your camera, the mic, well, not the mic, the video is slightly bad, make more. Everyone has to start somewhere, sir. Everyone does. So yeah, then went back to the bar, and the last person I met on this Sunday, just before I was about to go actually, Luke. Sir, it was a pleasure to meet you. Very, very nice Irish gentleman, who is on Full Metal Hero. So I will find you on Full Metal Hero. You've probably already found me on Full Metal Hero. Add me, please. I hope we get to talk much more next year, because, as I said, I only met you at the end. So I hope you enjoyed your auto assembly. I believe it was your first. So I hope you'll be returning to us. And that was pretty much it. I left at about 3, but before that I did go around and say goodbye to everyone. I didn't get to say goodbye to everyone, so if I didn't say goodbye to you, I hope you had a safe journey. If you stayed for the Monday, I hope you stayed for the Monday. Jim, if you recorded the interview with Andrew Griffith, let me know. If not, then we can do it in a couple of weeks' time, whenever he's free. But yeah, I just hope you had an awesome time on the Sunday evening if you did stay. And next year, I will stay until the Monday. I will, if it kills me, I'm going to stay until the Monday, because auto assembly is an awesome time, and it's only once each year. So that pretty much does it for this video. The next one will be my haul with all my lovely pieces of plastic that I brought over the weekend. That should be out in a couple of days' time. So until then, I will say goodbye to everyone, and remember, Auto Assembly 2014 is less than 12 months away. Just put that in your mind. Bye, guys.